Hi, everybody. Jason Neely here. I wanted to talk to you real quickly about the 1322 or 1377, basically the same gun, different calibers. Um, my first experience with it pinched my hand, enough to get a blood blister. Uh, I used it a few times and I liked it, and this is years ago now, probably nearly 10 years ago. Um, but I traded it. I didn't like the pinching my hand too much, and the damn thing was hard to pump. Nobody ever says that. I mean, you know, I'm not a big dude. I don't have huge arms, but I'm not weak either, right? I mean, I was a pretty decent athlete. Was in my younger days. Anyway, but back to this gun. So I traded to my buddy. He rants and raves about it. Loves the damn thing. He ends up loaning it to a friend, and his friend loses it, ends up probably keeping it, right? So we don't really talk about it that much anymore. And so here it is, nearly 10 years later, and I found this, the Crosman 2240. And I don't know, it was tripping me out. I was like, man, this thing is so familiar. I know I've had this gun before, and yet I know I haven't had this gun. And I'm thinking, what is it? What is it about this gun? Everything's exactly, I know the feeling of the bolt, pulling it back, and I was like tripping, right? And then I was like, I had a 1322 that I traded to my buddy George. So, anyway, um, I'm going to flip the camera a little bit and talk a little bit more about the 1322. So, um, this is the one that I just built, right? So, some of you have seen it already. It's got target grips. I really like the color blue. Cobalt blue is my favorite, and I love brass, right? So I kind of put them together, and I am happy with this. Um, this this is the original pump arm. This faces the front, and you had the potential to pinch your hand here between uh, trigger and pump arm, or if you got a big hand, you had a tendency to pump your catch your hand here between pump arm and the lower pump tube. So the great thing about this new one is it's flared, right? You can see it's like, look at the bottom. So you get an idea for the shape of that, and it's really difficult to pinch your hand. I mean, you kind of have to work at it. I've never pinched my hand. This greatly reduces the strain when you're pumping. You know, technically you're supposed to pump it to 10, but I've seen a bunch of dudes pumping it higher, and even one guy on YouTube pumping it to 20 just to see what he got out of it. It was doing nearly like the Crosman 362 rifle like type speeds, above 600 feet per second. But anyway, I'm pretty happy with the build. I wanted to show one thing. You might look a little cheesy when you get really close to it, but I took the stock sight and a Dremel and I made it fit the breech. I don't know why somebody doesn't just 3D print up this thing, because I hear people griping about the sights and all that, and the only problem I've ever had with the stock sights is, like, you can't see the front. So I took some of my brass paint and I painted just the front of the blade there. And the other thing I noticed was interesting is I actually installed this thing wrong way. See the screw heads? They were actually on the wrong side the first time. And I turned it over and looked, and there's these indentations, these countersunk spots here. So actually, when you take it apart, the regular pump arm, the screws go in, the heads are on this side. You can see the countersunk part on this, right? So I even kind of dented a little bit, but the countersunk side is on the opposite side on this one. Anyway, enough rambling. um, that's about it for now. Talk to you guys later.